Good evening, coaches. My name is Jamison Miller with the Glazier Football Clinics. I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's webinar. We're very honored tonight to have Coach Art Craig, who's the head coach at Timberland High School, with us to present implementing the midline, inside and outside veer, using the flexbone pistol. Coach Craig, like I said, he's the head coach there at Timberland High School, and they had a 14-1 record last year and were the 2A state champs. So I'm sure he's going to bring some great information for you coaches. I want to welcome all the coaches that have never attended a Glazier webinar before. Once the speaker begins to give his clinic talk, you will be able to see his computer screen and be able to hear his voice through one of two ways, which I'll explain how to use in just a couple of minutes. Most speakers use a PowerPoint presentation, and I know Coach Craig is tonight, a PowerPoint with some video in it. That'll make the webinar very easy to follow. Also wanted to make coaches aware that all of the updates and changes to the webinar speaker schedule will be updated on Facebook and Twitter. The nature of the coaching business causes schedules to change, and when they do, we want you to know about it. Coaches, we've got a couple of audio options for you tonight that I'll go over here in just a second. But first of all, I want to let you know that our title sponsor for this webinar tonight is Close the Gap. We know that Glazier Clinic coaches like you are tuned into your athlete's health. To help support you, the Glazier Clinics has partnered with Close the Gap, an educational initiative focused on eliminating disparities in cardiovascular care. Together, we will help educate you and your staff on the appropriate screening your athletes should undergo to determine if they are at risk for sudden cardiac arrest. Visit www.glazierclinics.com. Look under the Coaches Resources tab for the Close the Gap page to find out more about how you can help. All right, coaches, there are two audio options for this webinar. Option number one is your computer speakers. This option is the default, and most of you are probably already listening to us through your computer speakers. Option number two, to listen by telephone. To listen by telephone, go to the webinar control panel, expand the audio portion of the control panel, and click on the Use Telephone Radio button. Then dial the number shown and enter the access code when prompted. The 2012 Glazier Season Pass includes entrance to our 30 on-site clinics. Glazier Clinic Online, presented by Sport Decals, which is available 24/7, 365. Glazier Clinic Online contains over 50 instructional videos, over 900 sets of clinic notes, over 190 of these archived webinars, access to the Glazier e-clinics, and big discounts from some of the top football vendors. Coaches, tonight's webinar, along with all the other webinars we do, will be archived at Glazier Clinic Online if you miss out on part of this presentation. Coaches, here's a list of the 2012 Glazier cities and dates. These dates are also listed on glazierclinics.com if you would like to look further. New for 2012 are the Glazier 150 clinics, which will be in Greenwich, Connecticut, Indianapolis, and Atlanta. These are 150 session events that cover 12 topic areas with unprecedented depth, including schemes and fundamentals. Sessions are exclusively taught by high school and small college speakers. Here's the schedule for the 2012 Glazier e-clinics. These are only available for season pass holders. The Glazier e-clinics are multiple session clinics over the internet on specific topics that you and your coaching staff can watch from your home or office. Glazier e-clinics include speakers from LSU, the University of Texas, Wisconsin, New York Jets, SMU, Louisville, and many more. Coaches, also included in the season pass, as mentioned earlier, discounts from some of the top football vendors. Some of the vendors offering great discounts on their products and services are Huddle, Sport Decals, and Power Plus. You can find the complete list at www.glazierclinics.com. As I mentioned earlier, Glazier Clinic Online is also included in the season pass, and it has over 50 instructional videos, over 900 sets of clinic notes, and over 190 archived webinars. If you are not a Glazier Season Pass holder and you are interested in trying out Glazier Clinic Online, email John Christ at jchrist@glazierfootballclinics.com with your name, your school or organization, and your state, and he will set you up with a 3-day free trial. Go to glaziercliniconline.com for more information. Championships are won when correct preparation, proper training, discipline, and desire to achieve a goal come together. For almost 40 years, Rogers Athletic has been providing training and field equipment that have helped coaches and teams achieve the goals they have set. From sleds, chutes, and dummies to the most innovative strength training equipment, Rogers Athletic can provide you with the tools to compete in the ever-changing game of football. Football continues to evolve as athletes get bigger, stronger, and faster. In order to train and develop more complex skills, Rogers Athletic has developed the next generation of practice equipment. No current product can simulate the weight, resistance, and natural movement of an opponent like the new Rogers Tech Sled. Coaches, appreciate everybody's attention to the instructions there. If you have any other questions during the presentation, Coach Craig will stay till after the presentation to answer those questions, but you are more than welcome to go ahead and submit those questions via the text box there on the right-hand side of your screen. During the presentation, we'll get to those as soon as Coach Craig is done. Coaches, you can also hide that webinar control panel on the right side of your screen there by pressing on the button on the left side of the control panel that has a white arrow pointing to the right with an orange background. That'll minimize the box and allow you to see the entire presentation. All right, coaches, I'd now like to hand it over to our speaker for today, Coach Craig, who's going to be speaking on implementing the midline, inside, and outside veer using the FlexBone pistol. Coach Craig, you should see a button pop up there in the middle of your screen.
Yes, it says show my screen.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and click that.
Okay.
And it's all yours, Coach. We can see your screen.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Glazer Clinic for inviting me to this webinar. It's very exciting for me and my school to be able to do this. We have been a team that has run this FlexBone for several years, and we decided to do something a little different. And the results for us were pretty amazing. We've always been successful, but this year we were able to win the 2A Division I state championship. Of course, this was our first football state championship in school history. We had a record of 14-1. The senior class graduated with a record of 51-4, winning 93% of their games, which is the highest winning percentage in the state of South Carolina. And this team also averaged over 40 points. Implementing the FlexBone for me was something that I started about in January of last year looking at. I was online looking at some things and was wanting to do something a little different. The past 3 years we have lost to the same team in the third and fourth round of the playoffs. South Carolina has 5 rounds to get the state championship. So on YouTube I was looking at Tony Anise. He was coach at Muskegon High School. I saw some of their things, and then I saw where he was at Grand Rapids Community College, and so I called, sent me some tapes, and I was amazed how this offense ran and how close it was to the FlexBone. After looking at it and going over all the DVDs, we decided we were going to try to install this thing that we call the Wolf Gun. In our offense, we were constantly having to block 8 and 9 defenders with the FlexBone. We were able to spread the defense more, and we had skilled people where we could move the ball around. And one of the things we were trying to do was overcome our 5'6" quarterback and our center that was 170 pounds. The advantages of the Wolf Gun, we felt like our quarterback would be able to see the alignment of the defense better. This allowed him to check. You'll see some of the film that I put up. You can see him checking at the line of scrimmage. Actually, this allowed for safer mesh with us, and actually I had to spend less time teaching the inside veer than I did before. And the biggest thing that helped us get over the hump, it greatly increased the production of our passing game. And to our players, we felt like that we were in the spread offense. Just a few numbers. We took 550 rushing snaps for 3,789 yards, and we rushed for 73 touchdowns this year, averaged 6.8 yards per carry. But here's the thing that improved for us. We took 145 passing snaps, 75 completions for 1,088 yards and 16 touchdowns. Of these 701 snaps we took, only 10 snaps were under center, which was completely different for us. And we had no fumbles on the center quarterback exchange where we lost possession of the ball. This allowed us to beat a team that had beat us the last 3 years, allowed us to play in the state championship, and obviously win our first state championship. One of the things I feel that makes us very successful is we're a very heavy formation team. We also use tight ends, and we'll go in oversets, unbalanced, and we're pretty much going to decide if you don't know how to line up to our formations, then you're going to be in for a long night. Our base formation that we'll start teaching everything out of will be this eagle formation at the top left. That's where everything will start in the spring for us. And from there we'll move on to eagle stack, eagle close. At the bottom left we'll actually even go over eagle. And then we add king and queen calls too. I'm a little different. Most people go queen, queen to left, king to right, whatever. This is my king. This is my queen. We actually even get some empty. And then in some cases we went back to our old flex ball. You actually even went in a tight. When we bring our tight end in, it cuts our split down a little bit to a 2x2. And we feel, this is a really good formation, Morris. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to get in tank formations and over formations. Tank brings the tackle over, over brings the tight end over. We'll also get some twins, twins tiger. We'll empty it, we'll king and queen it, and then what we'll also do is out of our eagle formation, we'll get a lot of spread. We'll get a lot of trips with a tight end. This is a really good formation for us versus a 3-3 stack. And then this formation here, we call this Yankee for tight end. This will actually be our flanker. This is our running back, tight end, fullback, split in here. The thing that made us so multiple about halfway through the year when we thought we'd gotten pretty well at doing this, we actually went back and added the I some, and you'll see some I formations out of it. We actually got in nasty, and then actually we even got some flanker split here. If we wanted to go no back, then we go Georgia here. Our goal on short yardage situations, that's our normal one formation on the top left. We call that a red set. When you get that set from us, if you scouted us, you're going to get the outside veer or the superpower about 90% of the time. And then we'll also go a tackle over, a tight end over on this side here. We'll have a blue call. We don't run that a lot. It's just something to give you different. And then here's our hammer package. We actually got in a beast formation, and we actually got what we call an ugly formation, and everybody knows the polecat that we do. So our player personnel, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because anybody can name their positions the way you do, but for us, our X's were our split ends, our 2 was our wing to the right, our 3 was our wing to the left, our 4 was our fullback, our 1 was our quarterback. We brought a tight end in here. He was our Y. When we go to trips, all we do is move the 2 out. Now sometimes we'll replace that 2 with another receiver and get the back out, but that back there will be our motion back, and then that's how we do. When we want to go to empty, we'll take the 4 out and put another receiver in there, and we'll let that person become a Z there. Empty personnel with the fullback, he always knows that we'll give him a yellow call to the left and purple call to the right. We implement motions in our offense, and what we do is we just do letters for our motions. A's outside, B's in the middle, C will be at the tackle, D will be at the tackle, here, here. And here's an example how we would motion here. Here's your 3, D here, and that's how we would motion across here. We've got all kinds of motions. I'm not going to read through all of them because that's really not why we're here tonight, but it will be available if someone wants it later on. This just really explains our motion a little bit more here so you can see it compared to how we'd be lined up out of a trip set here. And that's 2E, and that's how we would do that there. Our jet motion, the one thing I really liked about this offense is when you do your complementary plays, our jet motion, we still ran behind. That's the thing I did like about it. And also, if we run our toss or Wofford motion, we still ran it the same way too, so we didn't have to reteach those things. The Timberland option game, we'll begin with the inside veer to the open side and tight end. Next, we'll add the midline. We'll also add the midline triple option. The last option we add will be the outside veer. This is the easiest veer to put in for us. Once we master this, we add different types of motions out of trips and various formations. We believe with all 3 options, defenses will not be able to defend everything. We'll also add wing T to this too, because I was a wing T guy. So we'll actually run buck sweep, the fullback trap, the down, and those kinds of things too. How do we implement the wolf gun? Well, you're going to see some things here. The first thing we did, I came in on a Sunday. I'm the athletic director and head football coach at my school. So I came in on a Sunday and pushed the bleachers in, and I painted an option tree in the gym. And I'll show you what that looked like in just a second. In February, we started practicing snaps with my centers. My centers had to take 50 snaps to each other, 50 good snaps. This is going to be the most important part of implementing your offense here, the center snap, and then you'll see why in just a minute. And then a couple of weeks after we started working on our snaps, we started putting the quarterback, center, and fullbacks together 3 times a week, working on our steps. This is where I came in and painted a tree here. You can see this line here is where my center would stand. This is our old line when we were underneath, and this is where my quarterback stands in our pistol. And I'll explain how all his alignment in just a minute. This is our midline, and these are our outline, and these are our inside veer lines. So this is what we practice. As you can see the view, if you're on defense, you'll see the view here. The thing I like about this tree in the gym, it doesn't hurt the floor. It's not interfering with any of the baskets. And when it rains and we practice inside, we have a place where we can line up without linemen. The biggest difference in the flex bone and the wolf gun is you're going to see is the snap. It's a two-handed flip. It is not a spiral, and it is not a one-handed snap. That's the biggest thing I had to overcome when we put this in. My quarterback only aligns 2.5 yards from the center. My wingbacks align 5 yards from the tackle and even with the quarterback. We will adjust these alignments as needed, and when we add tight ends, we go to 2x2. The fullback aligns his heels at 5 yards, and we'll be in a 3-point stance. That's another thing I like about adding this. I did not have to change how my fullback hit the midline and inside veer. The center will have a stance of a little more than shoulder width. When you grip the ball, his thumbs on each side of the laces, hands spread even, and there's a little tilt of the ball. When the center snaps, there's a flip, and then he steps. And what you're going to see next are some pictures here of our center. And this is our starting center, all 170 pounds of them here. But you can see the hands here. You can see how they're spread. He's in a nice little stance there. And then you'll also see the side view here. Again, he's here. And then you're also going to see a back view of what it looks like from behind. Now, I'm also going to tell you the center snap challenges for him. The speed of the snap, you're going to have to practice this because if it's too hard, it will go over the quarterback's head. If it's too soft, it will go at his feet. And then he's also got to work on snapping and stepping laterally. One thing I will show you here is you're actually going to see him snap here and step from a side view. You'll see him right here. You'll see him snap and step there from the side. Again, that snap has been practiced 50 times a day since February before we even got into spring football practice. Here's a front view so you can see it. Again, the hands are spread. You can see how he'll step here. You see where the snap hit the recipient pretty much right in the waist. Here's another side view here of what we do on your snap. You can see him snap there and step. Those are the most important things that's the first thing you're going to have to do when you start implementing this. Before you ever go to anything else, you're going to have to take care of this, because if you don't, it's going to mess up your whole offense. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and talk about the inside veer, and this is, you'll see with the quarterback the things that he has to do in order to put this in. The steps for the quarterback on the inside veer is a pivot versus stepping at 5 and 7 o'clock. Anytime I taught the inside veer, we said there was an imaginary clock. To the right, you step at 5 o'clock. To the left, you step at 7 o'clock. Where here, you're going to just pivot, and I'll show you that. And after you do that, everything else is basically the same in the regular veer. I mean, he's still going to get his hands back. He's still going to try to read it. The biggest challenge he's going to have in this pistol is when he goes through is to clear step and get downhill. Sometimes what they're going to do is they're going to clear step, and they're going to want to get north and south instead of getting downhill. The quarterback's going to stand with his knees bent in an athletic stance. He's going to have his hands up, anticipating a bad snap. One of the biggest things he's going to have to do also is going to stay focused and not try to move before he gets the snap. My quarterback had a little trouble at the beginning of trying to move before he actually received the snap. And early on, we fumbled some in spring. That's a good thing about having 10 days of spring practice. We were able to get all these kinks out before we actually had a game. His feet are about shoulder width apart, athletic stance, and again, he's 2.5 yards from the center. We had to change our cadence from down set hut to ready set hut because our lineman could not get down on down because we motioned a little earlier than we did in the past. So how did we get to be proficient in what we're doing? Our practice strategies were, this is basically what happened every week in our practice. Every Monday and Tuesday outside, we had a tree. My quarterbacks were on that, and usually my quarterbacks and my fullbacks were on that. Then what we did every Monday and Tuesday, we did a 2-ball drill, and I'll show you what that looks like also. On Mondays, we did half line option, and if you're not familiar with that, what you do, you take your right side of your line, basically at the hash mark, and then with the center, you take your left side. With the center, you got 2 quarterbacks, and you're both running inside veer to the left, inside veer to the right, out of different formations, and you do midline and outside. Didn't have to do it long because it really wears them out. And then when we had our inside period, it had some kind of option in it every day. And then the thing that we did, we also included some option plays when we were in our offensive skelly period. The thing that you're going to see here is you're going to see how we step. And this is, again, this is after the season, but you can see here where we step, where my quarterback basically wore this out. But we had a tree here, and this is where we practice at every day. And you can see my quarterback's only 5'6" here. He was about 165 pounds. But he was a warrior, and he really liked this look here. Now, when you go to see this, you're going to see him get the snap here, and you're going to see him turn and come and pitch. We did that one drill every single day, and I would stand over to the right, and I would let him pitch to me. We'd have a quarterback. We'd have 3 quarterbacks. One would stand here, snap. He would come here, pitch to me, and they just rotate in, and we just do that over and over and over and over and over. This is going to give you a better look from it so you can see what it looks like on your steps. Again, you want them to be athletic as they can be. If I can pause it right there, to me, that's what and that's really right there no different than if you're under center or anything else. The ball's a little high here. I'd rather be a little more, but again, he's athletic. His arms are bent. Okay, he's got on his dive read here. To me, that's a really good looking step there. And then what you can also, you'll see it with the fullback in here, and you'll see him step right here and ride the fullback. And again, if you see what he did there, hold on one second. If you'll see what happened there is after he gave it, he basically followed him downhill, and that's what we really want for our quarterbacks to do. So we don't get if he does pull it, he can get downhill, and we always preach get to the line of scrimmage. If you make a bad read, at least get to the line of scrimmage. Okay, now you can see the inside veer to the left side, and Again, he's right here. You can see athletic, arms bent. Okay, he's on his dive read right there. Very good stance from me on there. And you can see him come, then he pitches. You'll see a back view here again, inside veer to the left. You'll see him here. Watch him step right there. He's up on his toes a little bit here, but still pretty good stance for me for the inside veer there. Now you'll see him with the fullback go, and you can see him here come right now. See here he went a little more north and south than he did come off his hip there. We also do a two-ball drill, and what we'll do is we'll have all our three backs here, all our two backs here, all our full backs here, and we'll do a two-ball drill every Monday and Tuesday, and this gives us a lot of time in, and we feel like that this is one of our better drills we do here. You can see here we take the handoff and we pitch. So that way we're getting a handoff and a pitch every single time here. I'll let you look at it again. You can see it right there. He's there. You can see the other quarterback. He's standing right here. He takes the handoff inside here just so he can take the same steps that he would as if we were actually running the inside veer. So you can see he's inside, gets the handoff, steps, and pitches. And then what we'll do is we'll also do it from the other side. He's there, inside, pitch. That's our two-ball drill. We'll do that with the inside veer and the outside veer. We really don't do it with the midline a whole lot. Then what we also do, we'll put our king and queen sets in. This is our three. Our two will be on this side, and what he'll do is we'll have what we call a Casper call. He'll come here, he'll go back, and then we'll get in pitch relation here. And you'll see this right here. The guy's going to come in motion right here, inside veer, pitch there. Now you'll see it to the other side there, and you can see where the guy came in motion. Now when we do this look here with this Casper call, and you'll see it, we have a crack. That will be a crack call with our X. Our X will crack and he'll go out on the thing here. Inside veer. I'm sure everyone pretty much knows how to block the inside veer, and my quarterback's no different than anybody else. He'll make some mistakes sometimes, but he did a pretty good job. We're always going to run the inside veer to one technique. If we've got a 1 and a 3, we're either going to run the inside veer to the 1, the midline to the 3. If we get two head-up twos, if we get two head-up guys here, we treat them as 3s. So our guards will have 3 calls here, and then basically that's a choice call. We'll have a choice call for our quarterback of where we think we need to run the football. Hopefully we've scouted enough during the week that we'll know who we're going to go after. And we're running the inside veer here. Obviously, that's my dive read. That's my pitch read. Other fronts, again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I know you guys probably know how to run this. This is versus a 3-3 stack. Usually against a 3-3 stack, well, if we're going to run the inside veer, we'll get a tight call here. We're bringing these guys in to help some here. Against a 4-3, again, we'll come to the 1. We'll come to Mike. That will be our end will be our dive read. Our backer will be our pitch read. We get a lot of 6-1 because people try to push pull here, and so then what we'll do is we'll block that corner. We'll block that safety coming here. If we don't usually run the inside veer to the tight end, if we do, we'll double. We usually get a 3 or a 2 out here, so we'll double him. We'll take a tight end there, and we'll take our wing here on the corner. And that'll be our dive and our pitch read. One thing that we do like doing, I talked about this Casper call a little bit. Okay, again, we're in a queen call here, and Casper telling us it's a ghost call, so that's why we call it Casper. He's going to come in motion, come back, we're going to get the crack call here, and then we'll run the inside veer. Really good play for us. Okay, and the reason we do this, we get so much push-pull. If we can get any rotation out of these free safeties here, then we know we've got to play. Another thing we like to do is out of trips, we will come here and we will get a twirl call. If we go twirl, we don't number our plays. Our kids, we know huddle, and so our kids name all our plays. We used to call that 42 veer. Now that play there is called Burn or Vermont for us, and the kids name that. Another thing we like to do here, when we get trips, if you're in a 4-3, we know out of either with these trips here or either tight end trips, you're going to have to get out of that 2 safety look, and we really like running back to the alley here. And then what we'll also do is run. We don't run much inside veer of our red set. Our inside veer plays, the plays will show gives, keeps, and pitches. First play you're going to see here, you're going to see the inside veer. Again, we call our formations eagle. This is a double split, double wing here. We try to be 5 yards here. Obviously, when you're at the hash, you'll rotate a little bit here. This is against a 4-3 defense. This is against a team that we play every year. And you can see here that we've got the defense pretty spread, and you'll see his dive read come up right here, and then you'll see his pitch read come up. You'll see his dive, pitch, and we're there. This is against the same team. You still got a 4-3. We have a call we call show, and we'll call 3 show or 2 show. If we go 3 show, he's coming here to either draw you off sides, or we're going to show, come here and come back and see what kind of rotation we're getting here. So again, this is our eagle 3 show, and this will be inside veer to the left. See him show there. Then he comes back, and now we've got the inside veer. Bam. Good blocking. We were so good this year because we had such good perimeter blocking. Okay. Another thing I think is very advantageous for you is you've got to run the option back into the boundary because people overload so much over here. And the boundaries were very good to us, and you'll see in our state championship game how we scored on that. Again, this is just our eagle call. We're going to run the inside veer. Okay, he takes the dive, he pitches. And you know, that team, we play that team every year, and they have a hard time with it. Our next play is we got eagle queen. This is our queen call here. We're going to have inside veer to the left, and this is against Manning. Manning's going to give you a different look every single time. They'll go 3-4, 4-3, 5-2. But I can find my little, there we go. This is the one play that I've tried to play a couple of times. It looks like right here, if you'll just hang on for just a second, for some reason I'm having a hard time with this one play here. It will stop in just a second, and we'll move on to the next play. But what we would do here is we would actually bring him back here, come back, and run the inside veer. I'm hoping we're going to get this cleared up for us in just a second. But again, on the inside veer, the most important thing that we can do here is to make sure we know who we're blocking with these perimeter guys. These guys pretty much are going to stay the same. They're going to know what they're doing here. And I'm hoping, there we go. Okay. Let's try this one more time, guys. I'm going to try it one more time. Well, I don't really want to do it again on that play. All right. We've got eagle formation again. We've got inside veer to the right. We've got a 6-1 defense again. We see a 6-1 we get a whole lot of push-pull. You're going to see us run it here with the give right there. Puts a lot of pressure on the team. This is hand-in-hand again. We end up playing in the 3rd round of the playoffs, so now they've changed from a 4-3 look to a 6-2 look. And what we've got now, we've got an over tiger look. Actually, what we did is we go over tiger left here, which is a tight end over, and then we're going to shift into trips and run the inside veer. My back actually got a little confused here, but now you see, now we've shifted to a regular trips with a tight end backside here, and we come in, run inside veer, and the quarterback runs underneath it. You're going to see, this will clear up in just a second. This is our over tiger look again. Actually, this is our over heavy look. That's going to be a tackle. We'll put the tight end back here. Again, Tank's to over. Tank puts him there. Over puts him there. You're going to see this is a 5-3 or a 5-4. This is in the second round of playoffs here against this team. Does a good job. You know, it's real hard to have kids that have enough confidence to pitch the ball going downfield. Again, you're going to have over tiger right here against this defense, and you're going to see us pitch it again. I think this play here is one of our better option plays for the inside veer that we ran all year long. Everybody was accounted for. You had great blocking on the perimeter there. You see him pitch off of it. You know, that's tough on any defense, I believe. This is our state championship game. We're playing a team here. They've been to 10 state championships, but they just weren't ready for our overall speed. Again, we're going to be in tiger left here. We're going to run the inside veer, and we're going to give it to the fullback. And you can see him just duck up on it. And you know, you look at that and you go, well, you know, that wasn't a whole lot. But here, if you look at it, you know, we've got a 3rd and 3. A 3rd and 3. And that's hard on the team. We're coming out of our own end zone here. We go trips with a tight end. I love this formation. I think it gives teams fits because we'll end up with the inside veer over here. We'll midline you here with a stab call. We'll outside veer you and inside veer here. And you're going to see us run the inside veer to the left. It's going to be a give. And he just gets caught there at the very end. And actually, our quarterback checked this. This is a trips call, and oh, I'm sorry, this is a spread. We call this spread. That way, what we started doing later on in the year, we started using 2 receivers here. We had some good size here, and this is a 3rd receiver. That's our back that rushed for 1,000, and this is our fullback here. We're going to run inside veer to the right. You'll see our twirl. This is what I was talking about on the twirl. You'll see that. You'll see him come back. And if the receiver up top had stayed on the block, we'd have probably had a touchdown. Again, this is a state championship. This is a 3rd. You can see the sticks. This is a 3rd and 4 here. Basically, what we're doing, we're running a load here, and basically what we're just saying is we're gonna pull it, and we're gonna see if we can get it here. Again, we're in trips here, and we're going to go back into the boundary. Again, I'm going to tell you again, you must run into the boundary if you're going to run the option. If you scout yourself, you ought to scout yourself some and see what you do there. I mean, that's 3rd and 3. That's 3rd and 3 there, and we get the first down. This is spread left again. Receiver back, fullback Q here. And we're going to run the inside veer back into the boundary again for a touchdown. Now we teach our pitch a little different too. If you look at this again, we don't ask our quarterbacks to take any kind of punishment on the pitch. We're going to step. When we pitch, we're going to be stepping back. That way, if you hit us, you know, you don't have to be a hero and show that you can take a lick there. So I threw these 2 in. This is a lower state championship game. This Dillon team, they have 11 players that already have D1 offers. They have the number 3 rated tackle in the nation. They all 3. Their linebacker, their running back, and their offensive tackle all went to Under Armour Combine in January, and all three were named MVP in their spots. And somehow we were able to beat this team. Sometimes you're going to have to spread teams out. I mean, really spread them. And you're going to have to be innovative, and you're going to have to give your kids a chance to win. And what we decided this year is we were going to do everything we could. So we actually call this a veer read. And what we're going to do is we're going to read the last man on the line of scrimmage. We've got them spread, and we're going to block it inside, just like the inside veer to the right. This guy's going to go in jet motion here. The Q is going to read him. If he steps out, he goes. If he sits, he gives it. And we just call that another part of our inside veer read here. You can see him read it, and he keeps it right there. We ended up beating this team. We scored in the last minute to beat them. This is the team that's beat us the last 3 years. We have never beaten this team. We were 0-5 against them. You're going to see the same play again, and he reads it again, and now you're going to see him sit, so he gives it. That's just, to us, that was just the inside veer. Okay, guys, the next thing I'm going to go to here is we're going to go to the midline. We're going to go to the midline option, and from the pistol, I love this play, and it was really good to us. And again, I'm not going to read the practice strategies for you because they were already up there, but we did these same things every day. We will read the 3 technique, just like pretty much everybody else does. If a guy tries to cross our face, we will down him. On the midline, the quarterback's going to get as deep as he can. He's going to, and here's a really thing that he has to do. When he takes his steps back, he's got to stay as athletic as he can and not get his feet spread too much. When he steps, he almost jumps back. The fullback will aim for the cheek of the center on the side we were running to, and we will also run the triple midline. We'll read the 3 and the 5 techniques, and I got this from Wofford, and I'll show it to you a little bit. Our midline veer is we're going to have a stab call, and you'll see it. We just call it, if we're an eagle here and we're out here and we go midline right, well, we would just call this mork, and we just give a stab call. The reason we love this stab is if I'm coming here, you have no idea if I'm stabbing, if I'm running jet, or if I'm running Wofford sweep, or if I'm just coming across. So we really like the stab out of it. Here's some different looks out of the midline. Against the 3-3 again. Against the 3-3, I would use the tight end a little more for the midline. Don't really like it with that. With the 4-3, again, we're going to read this 3 technique. And if we're out in here, again, with the stab call, we've got everybody counted. The one thing that we do is this bottom left here. If we run the midline to the left, we're going to gouge and see if we can do what we call a text call here. If we're going to read that 3, and especially if his end even moves out to almost a 9, we'll text that, and that's been a really, really good play for us. The midline triple, what we'll do against this 4-3 right here is we'll take this, and we will call this a completely different play. We will call this, instead of mork or midline right, we'll just call it Marquette. And what Marquette tells the tackle, now he releases him and he goes gets this back. So what we would do here is we would read this 3, we would read this 5 here, okay? We would crack him. My guy's going to come in motion, and we're going to come back here on him. And that's how we would run that. It's almost basically like the inside veer with the 3 and 5 veer. All right, midline right side view. Again, steps are real important here. We practice these every day, and you can see him jump back there. You're going to see him again, and that's basically how we try to do it right there. His toes are up a little bit, but again, he's back. He's got his feet are shoulder width apart. He's got good bend in his knees here, and so that's a pretty good look for us. And we practice pitching it here like it's a Marquette call. Of course, if we were running regular midline, it's going to be either a give or he's going to keep it. You're going to see a back view here. Again, you'll see him step back. Again, very athletic. Your fullback, you'll see he'll be coming right here, and he's got his eyes on that 3 technique read right there. Here's line right with the fullback now. You can see him here. He's there and comes off his hip. Midline left. You're going to see him step back, go, and pitch. See him on the back view here. Right there. All right, I'm trying to get to the next frame. Hopefully, for some reason, it's wanting to freeze up a little bit on me here. So just if you'll just bear with me for a second. I don't know what happened here. But what we're getting ready to go to is the midline plays. Just if the biggest thing you got to be able to do on that midline is you've got to be able to be able to have that quarterback walk up to the line of scrimmage in this pistol look and let him find that 1 technique, that 3 technique, and then hopefully he can make a good read here. I'm still, hopefully this thing's going to unfreeze, guys. I hadn't had this happen with this one here. So I know I hadn't even got to the outside veer yet. And I'll stay on here as long as I have to, as long as they'll let me, try to help you guys out. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the outside veer and see if this thing, I'm going to stop pushing this button for a minute, maybe it'll unfreeze on me. When we get to the outside veer, basically what we do is that's our last veer we put in. We feel like that's the easiest veer to put in. I can put the outside veer in one day. And we're just going to read the last man on the line of scrimmage. That's how easy it is for us. The biggest difference in the outside veer and the inside veer on the quarterback steps, instead of doing a pivot, now he takes his one big step. And basically our linemen have a down path theory on the outside veer. They just take inside man, and it's it's really nice play for us. And
hey, Coach.
Yes.
Hey, Coach, why don't you try just closing your PowerPoint there and opening it back up, see if that'll fix it. Coaches, just be patient with us here for just a minute. We'll get it back up and running.
My arrow moves, but it's not letting me. It's not letting me do anything. I don't know. I know I can't cut my computer off, start over again, because I'll lose it. But I'll lose you. But I don't know what the heck's going on here, to tell you the truth.
That's all right, Coach. Did you try hitting escape there?
Yep, that's what I'm hit several times. Wow. That's
Coach. You can try and do a hard reset there. Press the old Control Alt Delete and bring up and try and kill it. I'll while you're playing with that, I'll change take back control here for just a minute.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
All right, let's do this again. Let's see here. I don't know. For some reason, this play is giving me a fit here, and then when I it's not even letting me.
Coach, can we skip that one and go to the next play?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm saying. For some reason, when I even do this for now, it's just messing. I can't even get to the, it's not letting me get off that play for some reason. Wow. I did the whole thing today and I didn't have this problem.
Yeah, Coach, I think try and close out of that PowerPoint and get back into it.
Well, let's see. Let's see if I can go to the outside view here. All right. I've switched over to the outside view. How about that?
That'll work, Coach. All yours.
Okay. If I can go back at the very end, guys, I'll let you try. I'll try to let you see maybe some plays here. For some reason, my computer has froze up, and Jameson, I have no idea. I've never had this happen before, so it's kind of I mean, even when I switch to the other PowerPoint, it's not letting me. I'm gonna see if I can see if it'll let me close them.
Yeah, just try closing them and reopen the one that you want to go to.
Yeah. I apologize, guys. I really do. I've got some really good. If I shut it, there's no way to get me back if I shut it down and restart it, is it?
No, you can. You just dial right back in like you did before.
Will they hang on?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Coach.
Hang on. I'm gonna do this as quick as I can. Okay.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
Do you still have that task manager open?
Yes.
Just do a forced close on all your PowerPoints.
Where's that?
Yep, you're in it right there. So
right there.
Yep. So click on all those PowerPoints and then click in task.
All right.
There you go. Do that with all your PowerPoints there.
Yeah. All right, now let's see if I can pull this back up, guys. All right, I'm going to go on down to my plays and now on the midline so we can see a little bit here. Wow, thanks guys. I apologize for that. That was not planned, I can tell you that. This is going to be spread left, midline left with a 3 stab call. You'll see us. This is our big rival here, and this is a 4A school. What we did is we actually did a show here to see what we got. And then we came back and ran the midline right there. You're going to see this is still Berkeley. You're going to get an eagle with a 2 stab with a midline. This is a trips. This is like a trip spread here with a 3 stab, and the quarterback's going to keep it. And you can see him turn it up right here. We just feel like with the midline, the inside and the outside, it makes it really hard. It makes it really hard on defenses. You're going to have a 2 stab here. That was like a 3rd and short. You're going to have, this is our tiger formation. The tight end's away here. Okay, tiger right against the 6-2. And you're going to see us run the midline again here. To the right. To the right. You can see the quarterback checking. We get a stab call. And my quarterback this year, because he's a 2-year starter, had the flexibility of doing what he had, of doing those kinds of things. See him run inside beard in. I'm sorry, midline. Talking about being multi-formation, this is actually a flanker. This is a flanker eye look here, okay? And you're just going to see the midline here and see him follow up in there. This is against the 6-1 look that we got before. Now instead of running inside veer, now we're going to run the midline. Because we're in the 6-1, we didn't have to get a stab call. He was supposed to go get the safety that side. You're going to get a midline. This is what we talked about here of the text call. You got the over tiger here. That's your tight end, the X, the wing here, and they're going to get what we call that text call that I talked about earlier on the formations. He's right there, and you can see where he did that. Out of trips with a tight end, midline back inside. This is why I love trips with a tight end right there. Because we'll come back in just a second off that same look in there and then go back to the tight end side. Now we're in eagle against the same man team with the stab calls. Here's your trips. Now trips with a tight end. Now we're going to come back on a midline to the right this time, and we'll actually make it look like the inside veer with the motion. You can see the midline right there. Again, this is trips with the midline back. This is what we call, this is a twins. This is a twins with a heavy look. This is twins with a tackle over and a wing backside. Multi-formation. Every week we try to come up with something, anything we can there to see. Now again, being different formations, now we've got a slot with an eye with a tight end backside. Now I can use my slot to get up on the back in there, on the backer. This is a formation we came up with during the state championship. We just called this an ugly formation. What we're doing is we took our backs out and we took our two extra linemen right here. They lined up behind the guards, and basically we just ran midline left. There's like a third and a foot here, and we just ran like a little midline there. Okay. Now hopefully we can go and look at this outside veer, this outside veer look that we talked about from before. See all the problems I'm trying to get to right here. Here we go. All right. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the jibber jabber with it. I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Again, I told you it's the easiest of all ones. We'll read the last man on line of scrimmage. Our outside veer again is going to be here. We're there. Okay. Against our fronts. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here because I'll waste a little bit of your time there. But on our quarterback steps here, you'll see him. It's just the one big step. Bam, right there. That's all it is. From behind, you'll see it. Big step there. Then with the fullback, you'll see right here, one big step, clear. From the left side, there, clear. from behind. For some reason, I'm having trouble with these other little. There we go. Well, again, if you want to take, if we do have any questions, if you want to go ahead and start taking some questions, I'll work on this outside veer thing, and then when we get it running, we can go ahead and do that if you want to, Jameson.
Yeah, Coach, absolutely. We do have some questions here. Let's see here. Coach Rosler asked, are you a no-huddle signal team?
We know huddle. What we do is we do use signals. We also have bands, and then we have names. So we name our kids, like I said, we name our inside veer right is Vern, and inside veer left is Velma. Our outside veer is Victor to the right, Dylan to the left. So we have 3 ways of doing that, and then what we also do is we add dummy calls to it so people can't catch on to the R and L stuff.
Okay, Coach, this next question comes from Coach Murphy. Earlier in the presentation, he asked, is the QB 2.5 yards from the ball or the center?
Should be 2.5 yards from the center.
All right, this one.
And let me just add something to that. Again, you know, some guys I've talked to said it was 3 yards. Some guys said, you know, but I know at 2.5 yards for us from the center ended up being a perfect type of thing.
Excellent. And then what is the depth of the fullback from the quarterback?
Well, what we tell him his heels need to be at 5. Well, his heels are 2.5 yards from the quarterback. So altogether, he should be, he should be 5 yards from the ball. Does that make sense?
Does to me, Coach. All right, next question from Coach Medinger. He asked, when you run the inside veer, have you ever had a backside D end run down the play?
Yes, I have. I've had him run down the quarterback before. Now, I've never had him run him down for no gain, but because we step down backside, we have had that happen before. And then, you know, if you're playing an exceptional defensive end there, then it may be something where you can't step and rip inside so much. You may have to put a hand on him before you go.
Excellent. Coach Murphy asked, what are your O-line splits?
Well, we go guards go 2, and we go basically 2 feet with the guards and 3 with the tackles, and then 3 with the tight end. But now when we're running midline, we'll cheat out as wide as we can, and then we will actually game plan that on Sunday. Matter of fact, when we played in the Lower State Championship game, we actually took our 2 guards and flipped them to tackles because we knew their outside people were just too physical for our guys. And so basically what I'm telling you, game plan that, and you know, if you've got a nose that's just unbelievable, then you may have to cut your splits down on your guards or vice versa. So that we basically leave that open to a week in, week out thing.
Excellent. All right, next one comes from Coach McLean. He says, great stuff, Coach. Thanks for presenting. Could you talk about your pitch technique? Looks like your QB does a one-hand pitch.
Actually, he should have the ball. He should chest the ball, and when he chests it, he's going to step and he's going to push the ball out. It's not a flip. We're going to push it. It's almost like we're asking him to push a knuckleball. And actually, we feel like if the ball floats, it's a lot easier to catch than a flip. And basically what we do is when he steps, he's going to step to where he's pitching, and he's going to be stepping back and push all at the same time.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Murphy here. Do you run the belly play?
Yes, we do. We'll run the down and the belly. Obviously, we'll run the down to the tight end side. We will down, down with the tackle, down with the tight end, down with the wing kick. And then what we'll do on the belly, basically we'll do typical belly stuff, especially if we're getting a 1 and a 5 backside. What we'll do is we'll down the 1 out the 5, but we'll also run the belly off our jet series, as we'll actually almost fake the jet, get to the fullback, and let our wing run underneath on that.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Ketchum. He said, what other types of running plays do you implement to complement your midline and veers? For example, traps, zones, jet sweeps.
Yeah. Complementary plays that we do. Our best counter play is we'll after we do the midline and out, inside and outside, we'll run jet sweep, and then we'll run the toss, and then what we'll do is we'll fake the toss, and we'll bring the wing underneath, pulling guard and tackle backside. That's one of our better counter plays. And then what we'll also do is we'll fake the jet sweep and hand off to the wing coming underneath, and we'll let our fullback go kick the 5 and pull the tackle around and lead up. And then what we'll also do as we get better, we will also add the buck sweep, the fullback trap, and the waggle as our wing T plays off of it.
Excellent. Coach, next one comes from Coach Pinard. He said, with the snap, why is the center using 2 hands so important?
Well, when I got the stuff from Coach Anise, when we looked at it, and we asked the same thing, so we actually tried it with 1 hand. And being at 2.5 yards, we just didn't feel it was not. We couldn't gauge where the ball was going. And what was nice about this 2-handed flip, it just becomes really just one of these things where it gets natural for your quarterback. And the good thing about it, toward the end of the year, we actually got in the gun some, and it didn't affect the way we snapped. So I thought, it's just where it's timing and just being able to get that same snap over and over and over and over.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Pladell. He said, what are the teaching points on the quarterback and fullback exchange? How do you ensure that they will not put the ball on the ground?
Well, the one thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice, like you said, we're going to practice on that on the tree every day. We're going to go on a tree, then we're going to go on a 2-ball drill every day. And like I said, it doesn't have to be that long. And basically what it ends up doing, it just becomes a repetition kind of thing. And you'll be amazed at how quick that your guys pick it up whenever it starts to go. And it's just like one day it all gets smooth, and then you all of a sudden you say, all right, I understand the snap, I understand what we're doing here. And realistically, Coach, after the quarterback pivots, everything else is basically the same as far as the inside veer. And so there's really not a whole lot different teaching there.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Capaldo. Yes, do you run any jet motion with a ride to motioning back and run any inside zone, outside zone, or like Bob Stitz at Colorado School of Mines that was showcased by West Virginia versus Clemson in the Orange Bowl? Curious to know if you're running it or looking to run it.
We have not run the zone off of. Now I tell you what we did do. We didn't fake any stretch off. I mean, we didn't fake the jet. But what we did out of that eagle formation is we would cheat the fullback back a little bit, and we would run a stretch a little bit with him. But we just felt like running the midline, the inside, the outside, the jets, the toss, the counters, then adding our wing tee. That adding the zone would just be a little bit too much for our kids. Now, Jameson, I do have the outside veer videos up if we want to try to look at some of those right now.
Yeah, Coach, yeah, go ahead and go through those.
Okay. And again, anybody still on, I really appreciate this, guys. I'm sorry that this happened, but again, here's our red set on the goal line. 90% of the time, we're going to get an outside veer or what we call a superpower. And so what we're getting here, we're getting an outside veer to the right with the little twirl motion going back right there, and it just ends up being a really good play for us. The next thing we got here is we got a tight end trips, this Yankee formation that we talked about. Here's your tight end. That's your flankers going back up. That's your running back. And what we're going to do is we're going to twirl motion him back there. And this again, you can see he comes there, and then there's our outside veer. We feel like that defenses are going to have a really tough time stopping all three of them. This is trips with a tight end, and we're going to actually run the outside veer back to the tight end side here with a pitch. We don't pitch it a whole lot on the outside veer, but again, that's running the option back into the boundary, which we feel like we have to do. This is our twins. With a tight end wing here. We like this formation because if they don't walk out, we're just going to throw the bubble out here, or we'll throw the hitch or whatever. But again, you're going to get the outside veer back to this wing side on a twirl motion right there. Here, you're going to get the outside veer again with a give. That's just for the tight end wing. This is versus a 3-3 look. And you're going to see it again here against the 3-3. A little better this time. Comes there. This is coming out of our own end zone. Again, back to the tight end side. You can see it. And it's real easy. The quarterback's just going to read the last man on the line of scrimmage. I really don't understand why more people don't run the outside veer, because it's such an easy play for us. We're in an over tiger look here against a 50 look. So there it is for just a give, and he just cuts it back up underneath there. This is against a team. What they did is they were either in a 6-2 or a 3-3 look. This is an over tiger look against a 6-2 look. And they were pretty much determined we were not going to run the inside veer or the midline. So we ended up running the outside veer, I think, about 15 or 16 times. And in most of your games that you play, it's funny how if you go back and chart your plays, how you'll look at game 3, man, we ran inside veer 16 times and outside 2 and midline 3. And then like this game here, we ran it about 16, 18 times. But the inside veer, we ran once, and the midline we ran like once or twice. This is over trips, something that we just threw in there at them, and just trying to get people to line up wrong. Any way we can to get you to line up wrong, we're going to try to do. This is over tiger again. Gives you a good little side view here of us running it. Good. Everybody's got good angles. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. It's just a real hard play for people. This again is over tiger, and he's going to keep it this time. You're going to see him come in motion here. He keeps it. ducks up under and makes a nice little run there. Again, being multiple as far as your formations, we get in a twins look here, and because we get in a twins, they go to a 3-3 look. So we run the outside veer back to the left side. So you can see here, run it back to the left. And you can see sometimes my fullback's a little tighter than we really like. And this is our red set, too tight, double wing with an outside veer. That was a short yardage situation. Again, this is a 4th and 1. This is a 4th and 1 here, too tight, double wing. We're going to run the outside veer. We're going to make him have to decide what's he going to do. Is he going to tackle the fullback, or is he going to tackle the quarterback? And either way, we think he's going to be wrong. And you can see, and it just becomes an easy touchdown for us. This is, again, our red set. The quarterback's going to see it here and duck it back under. You can see him checking there. So he checks it outside veer, and then he comes back under and ducks under it. This is our red set like we just saw, but now we're in with a tank call with it. We're in a tank call now. So we're in an unbalanced set, basically to the right. And you're going to see us run the outside veer right there. And then we come right back and run it again to the left side. And you can see they have not lined up right. And I understand this is a no-huddle concept here, so we're going to decide how fast we want to do that. And that's all my slides I have. And again, if anybody could, James, if anybody's got any more questions, I'll be glad to answer them since I had to, stall a little bit on this PowerPoint. I'll be glad to answer as many questions as I can.
Yeah, Coach, excellent. Real quick, I'm going to change. I'm going to take over control here for just a second. If you want to kind of get set up there, excuse me, I will. I'm just going to run through a couple quick instructions. I know most of you coaches have already submitted some questions, and we will definitely get to those here in just a couple minutes. But I just wanted to run through a couple quick instructions for those of you coaches that aren't familiar with the webinars and how to submit questions. Coach Craig here. So coaches, you can submit your questions in one of two ways. You can either submit them by the questions section of your webinar control panel. It's just like Chatter IM. Or if you've dialed in using your telephone, you can click the button that looks like a small red hand on the vertical toolbar sticking out from your webinar control panel. That'll let me know that you've raised your hand for a question, and I will unmute your phone to allow you to ask a live question to Coach Craig. Raising your hand will not work unless you are dialed in by telephone to the number indicated in the audio section of your control panel. For those who want to dial in by telephone, click on the Use Telephone Radio button and the audio portion of the control panel, then dial the number shown and enter the access code when prompted. We'll pause just for a second here to let you coaches go ahead and submit your questions. And coaches, while we're paused here, just want to run through a couple quick more notes from some of our partners. Coach's Choice is the place to go if you're looking for the best instructional books and DVDs. They have a full library of instructional material from many different categories. To access these videos, visit their website at www.coacheschoice.com. Power Plus Mouth Guards. Coaches, the safety and performance of your players depends on the right equipment. The Power Plus Mouth Guard can help all of your players stay safe and in the game, performing at their peak. Designed and tested by dental and medical professionals, the patented Power Plus Mouth Guard positions the jaw to increase strength while decreasing the G-force of impact-related head injuries. Visit PowerPlusMouthGuard.com for more information. Again, that's www.powerplusmouthguard.com. Championship coaching systems exist to provide coaches worldwide with specific offensive, defensive, and specialist systems that allow them to win more games and in turn championships. If you use one of their systems, you receive superior football content, phenomenal customer service, and a great coaching community. Just go to www.championshipsystems.com for more information. All right, Coach. Coach Craig, I'm going to turn control back over to you.
Okay.
So you can access your PowerPoint if you need to for any of these questions. Otherwise, we'll get started here if you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First one comes from Coach Hurley. He said, have you ever ran your midline and veer with 1-foot splits? If so, how quickly does your QB recognize what the defensive tackle is doing?
I've seen some teams do like you said, the real tight splits. With us, we have never done that. I think it would be hard to run the midline with a 1-foot split. For us, it would be. But I guess it's not just like anything else. If you practice enough, you could do it. But I like being here like we are because it allows him, like I said, to make good decisions. And then we teach our guys, our quarterback, if you make a bad read, just follow the fullback, give him back to the line of scrimmage, give you 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 12 or 13.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Dunlap. He says, Coach, do you put your bigger linemen at guard and smaller, quicker at tackle?
Yeah, this year we did do that. One of the reasons we did that was because we had a smaller center, and both our guards were around 300 pounds. And then our 2 tackles were in that 6'2", 6'3" range of about 215 to 220 pounds. If you're going to run a lot of inside veer and midline, I think your tackles have to be pretty athletic.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Krigler. He said, how do you teach the pitch relationship?
Just like if you saw the inside veer video, we do the 2-ball drill, and basically what we do when we set up that 2-ball drill is we'll put all our 3s on the left, all our 2s on the right, fullbacks there, and we've got 3 quarterbacks, and we run as many reps as we can in 15 minutes there, and we just, it's just repetition, repetition, repetition.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Pinard. He said, are you scooping the backside blocks?
Yes, we are. We do scoop backside. And what we try to do in spring practice is not only do we scoop, we try to teach them to get all the way across field, knowing that they probably won't on Friday night, but at least if they get there, then they'll do a pretty job of getting across. We try to teach them if they can get across, then we can cut somebody off because you never know what kind of angle our backs are going to take.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Trahan. He said, what are adjustments versus the 3-7-14 front?
A 3 and a 7 and a 1 and a 4. Well, again, to that 4 side, even if he's head up, we down that 1, and what we would do is our tackle's going to try to rip underneath that tackle with that 4. If the 4 crosses his face, we're going to take him. We'll go ahead and down him. And then my fullback will come off the tackle's hip, pick up the backer, and then it'll just become a double option instead of a triple. And then if we get that 3-7, then you're getting an outside veer ran at you. I mean, you just and we'll still run the midline to the 3, but the 1-4. The 1-4 is how we treat that. If he crosses his face, our tackle will take him, and then we'll just pitch off out the strong safety.
Excellent, Coach. Coach Calderon asked, are you running the rocket sweep off your deep motion?
Yes, we will run the rocket sweep. And we'll run the jet, which is the straight motion, and then we'll run the rocket. We run right at the fullback's hip, and we're going to try to pitch the ball outside on the outside leg of the tackle. But we do run it. And that's what, and the other coach that asked about the counters, that's what we run our counter off of. We fake the rocket and we come back underneath with that.
Excellent. Coach Deschines asked, do you ever run any trick plays?
Some I tell you what's funny is we practice them every Wednesday, and basically what we tell our guys is whenever we need them, we do them. We don't do a lot of them. I play some teams that's a staple in their offense. About the biggest thing we do, we'll run some reverses. We'll fake the inside veer, pitch back. We also will run what we call the double pass. We'll motion across, curl them up, pass. But realistically, that's about all we do there.
Excellent. Coach Calderon again with another question here. He said, are you running any play action off of your options?
Yes. We'll fake the inside veer and basically run your typical in route. We'll run the in route with outside guy, speed out. We'll also, our best play action is when we fake the jets. And what we'll do off the jet is if we're running a jet to the right, we'll fake the jet to the right. My 2 will stop and block there. My 4 will go backside. My X on the out, whatever route we're going to call. Our best route was the switch route where he runs a little skinny and wing to that side runs a wheel route. And then once you start jumping that, then what we'll do with the outside guy, we'll curl him. And then what we'll do is we'll all take the inside guy and let him run the wheel. And then later on, we'll do both of those, and we'll take that back that ran the jet fake. And what we will do is we'll go ahead and send him, and we'll call that a trail route. And that way, if you come, we'll just dump it over your head.
Excellent. Coach Medinger asked, have you ever had any issues with your center getting off the ball snapping with 2 hands?
No, what's funny is we anticipated some problems there, but what was surprising on us in the playoffs in the last 4 weeks we played, he all one technician noses he had were 300 pounds, and even though he was 170, it's just basically what you'll do with him is we took a one-man dummy sled, and he would snap and hit, snap and step, and it's just over and over and over and over and over. And once he gets used to it, he's got to learn to step lateral with that and really punch with his hands.
Excellent, Coach. Next question here comes from Coach Murphy. He said, when people try to play games with your veer reads, what are some of your adjustments? Do you read the linebacker?
We will, especially on a 4-3. If you're in a 4-3 to that 1-5 side, what we'll do is we'll dive read the 5, and we'll pitch read that backer there. And if you're giving me too much trouble, then we're just going to get in a tight end, and we're going to tight end wing over probably, and we're just going to run, we're going to run the outside veer. But also, Coach, one of the things that's why we have our other aspect of our game with the down, the belly, and the butt sweep with our jet tosses, because all that together we feel is just really tough on defenses to be able to stop everything we do.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Capaldo. He said, thanks for presenting tonight. And is your snap an end over end snap?
It is. Yes, it is. It's an end over end. It's not a spiral. And it's just a nice, soft, snap to the quarterback.
Excellent. Next question here is, when it comes to audibles, do you just let your QB check direction or play call also?
What we'll do is, especially with the inside veer and the midline versus the 1 and the 3, we'll let him actually check the play, and that's why if we have bands what we'll do is I can check the band on there, or he can just call the play out.
Excellent. Next question is from Coach Hillstrom. He said, what are the aiming point of the fullback on the outside veer?
What we do is we try to hit the outside hip of the tackle, and basically he takes one step and he's aiming right on that outside hip of that tackle, and once he gets that, he's going to try to stay on that 45-degree angle after he gets the handoff there.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Krigler. He said, how do you teach your quarterbacks to deal with the handoff key being in a stack?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, please.
How do you teach your quarterbacks to deal with the handoff key being in a stack?
Oh, okay. Well, again, I think one of the advantages for us is having the outside veer in a 3-3 stack. That's the toughest for us on the inside veer. That's why if you saw the Andrews DVD, the tapes, we'll get trips with a tight end, and especially against a 3-3 team, and we feel like that tight end really handles a lot of the problems that they can give us with those stacks, because then there we can just down everybody if we have to. And basically, again, what we teach our quarterback, if you make a bad read, you follow them and you get to the line of scrimmage to give me 2 yards.
Excellent. Next one, Coach, is from Coach Medinger. He said, do all these formations make blocking scheme execution difficult, or do you have specific rules for all positions?
Well, the formations didn't change, obviously, what you're doing up front. But the good thing is what we'll do is our skilled people, our wings, and our wings, what they'll do is when we come in on Sunday or Monday, when we go to our 2-ball drill, we'll go ahead and set up a shell defensive look. And we'll pretty much tell them, all right, this is where they're going to be. And this is where, this is what you're going to do on the inside. This is who you're going to block on a stab move on the midline. And so it really, again, we've done this. These seniors have ran basically the same offense for 4 years. So it's not a whole lot of change from them, but it's not real difficult to take. I tell you who has the biggest adjustment is the tight end, because he gets so many looks from a 6 to a 7 to a 9. He's the one, I think, that really has to know what's going on.
Excellent, Coach. Coach Pladell asked, are there any defensive fronts that you cannot run your option against?
I mean, we've never had one where we just couldn't do anything. The lower state championship game against Dillon, they were so physical. All four of them were like 6'3", 280 and 290 pounds. So that's why we went to the spread, the no back kind of stuff, and just trying to create some lanes there. But they're one of the few teams we've ever played where I really just didn't think we could do. I mean, I knew we weren't going to run the midline, but we still ran some inside, and really that was about the only veer we ran against them.
All right, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Williamson. Said, describe the difference in your inside and outside veer steps by your QB in the pistol.
Yeah. All right. On the inside veer, when he gets the ball, he's just going to pivot with his. If he's running to the right with his right foot, he's just going to pivot. And basically, it's almost like his heel stays in the ground, and he pivots to the right with his left foot turning to that key read. And if you're going to the left on the inside veer, you'll pivot with your left foot with your right foot turning to the key read. And then on the outside veer, basically what you're going to do is when you get your snap, you're going to take one big step, and so you can get to the landing point for the fullback. It's one step to the right and one step to the left.
Excellent. Next one comes from Coach Lowe. He said, is there any way to, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, from Coach Brown. He said, I'm a wing T guy. Are you able to run the wing T from the QB 2 yards back?
Yes, that and when I speak up at I'm going up Thursday to Connecticut. That's going to be part of the things that we're going to talk about, the complementary plays where we run the butts. We'll run the butt sweep off that. And what we'll do is we'll get a tight end wing on one side and actually just get the king or queen to the other side, and then that's how you give your butt sweep. That's how you can run the belly to the king or queen side, and then you can also run your down with it. But we were very successful running the butt sweep, the down and the belly out of that formation.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Hoff. He asked, what are your coaching points for your fullback on when to close down on the ball? He said, we've had issues with the mesh between the quarterback and fullback on option and zone read.
Well, we didn't change what we were doing as far as when to take the ball, when not. When we were under center, the rule was that our quarterbacks are tall. When the ball gets to front hip, you got to get it, and because that quarterback, when it gets to you, when the quarterback's front hip, he's taking it, and and so then what we did, we kept that same philosophy with this. So that's why you'll see, my quarterback still on the pivot, trying to get a turn, getting the ball back so he can read it. So it really didn't change our philosophy at all on that.
All right. Next one comes from Coach Bernard, and he asked, how do you block your drop back pass protections waggles?
Well, if we're gonna run the waggle, we're gonna run a normal waggle. If we're gonna run it to the right, we're gonna down the tackle, pull the guard, the play side guard around to take care of that 5, and the backside's gonna come and clean up anything. So really, the waggles didn't change. But people have to understand that this offense, it's not changing anything you do other than that quarterback being 2.5 yards deep. And really, that's the thing that you have to understand on that it's not going to change your blocking schemes. It's not going to change, how you really run the ball. And so that's why you can't get so worried about those things. We actually, like I said, we threw for more yards and more touchdowns than we have in the last 10 years.
Wow, that's awesome, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Garolmo. He asks, how do you coach your QB to decide on the give versus the keep? What specifically does he read, and when does he decide? What does he do with his hands?
Okay. If we're running inside veer, he's been taught. If his read key sits, he gives it. If he runs upfield, he gives it. If he crashes, he pulls it. And we teach that same thing for basically inside veer and outside veer. And basically, when he gets the ball and he pivots, his hands go back. His hands are going back. He's going to try to put his helmet, his chin on his shoulder. If he puts his chin on his shoulder, on his front shoulder, then his hands have to go back. And so that guy allows him more time to read that option before it gets to the front hip.
Excellent, Coach. You have time for a couple more questions?
Yeah, let's do a couple more.
Okay. Next one comes from Coach Hurley. He said, do you run a lot of play action off of your flexbone set? If so, what kind? The quick hit, fade, etc.
We have a quick game, and really, out of that Eagle set, the good thing about it is if we're throwing, and it's according to what hand it is, to his strong side, we're just going that. When we catch the ball, we're basically going to just basically turn, and we're either going to hit the speed out or the hitch, okay, or the quick fade. If it's to his weak side, we use something that I got at the Clemson campus. We use a little slide technique with our quarterback so he can get the ball out a little quicker. If we're going to use a deeper routes like with verticals and curls and digs and posts, that kind, we'll go ahead and get the snap and take a three-step drop, or maybe even a four-step drop where we want to be. So we really like our passing game. And then one of the best things we do also is we sprint out, and we get in our eagle formation and we motion across, and we're going to sprint out, and we're going to actually run routes for those two guys, and the motion guy is going to be a release guy for us a lot.
Excellent, Coach. Next one comes from Coach Wilson here. Said, do you ever have any problems with the defensive ends slow playing the dive to the quarterback?
Sometimes, but again, that's why when you see that happen, and then what you do is you start running the down at him, or you start running the buck sweep at him, and so now he gets different looks at him. So I mean, that's what we'll try to do. We'll try to mix it up and let him get ear hold a couple times, and so hopefully by the third, we bank on third and fourth quarter. You're going to get tired of being hit, and we've basically been in better shape than about 80% of the people that we play, and that's basically how we win some of our games. That we just make you tired of getting hit in the mouth over and over and over, and so that's how we do that.
Excellent, Coach. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight on the questions and for the webinar tonight. Coach Craig, I really appreciate everything. Provided some great content. Coach, if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to tell these guys your email address if they have any more questions or anything.
Yeah. You can contact me at Craig, CRAIGA, at gmail.com. That's Craig A, CRAIGA. I'm sorry, Craig A 100 at gmail.com. CRAIGA 100 at gmail.com. And go ahead and send me, any questions you have, and we'll try to help everybody out. And I just want to thank everybody for being patient tonight. I was a little frustrated on the slides, so thanks for everything.
Excellent, Coach. That was great. Coaches, feel free to email Coach Craig there if you have any additional questions or anybody that we didn't get to your questions. Appreciate everybody's participation tonight. And Coach Craig, hoping to have you on again at some point, and hopefully we'll have some better video this time. But that was great, and I know we had a lot of participation, some great questions tonight. Hope everybody has a great night. Again, this webinar will be archived at www.glaziercliniconline.com for future viewing. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Is that it?